invite one of my best friends, Jilly. She has been the most amazing person in the last few months. Jill's always been amazing, as we know, but watching her with Russell night after night, she's not complained. She's been there for him. She didn't want him in that hospice. She wanted him at home. She has bullied him. You know, when he said it'd be a good thing not to be married in heaven, he was lying. He's so going to miss her telling him what to do all the time. And also, as we all know, when Jill is playing up, that voice that just goes, Jill, Jillian.
You know, he always said to me, Jill, you can do whatever you like as long as you don't embarrass me. You know, just leave me out of the equation. And then I go home and go, oh, do you think I went over the top? And he went, yeah, but I love you. It's okay. And that was what, here we go. And that was what I loved about him. You know, you know, you get up and you speak and you go home and you go, oh, did I make any difference in people's lives? Did I do this? And he'd go, Jill, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Only one person might have liked what you said, but it didn't matter. You just talked from your heart, and that's just what you got to do. And he was always there encouraging me, and he just loved me for who I was. You know, loud or quiet or bossy or fun, hardly ever quiet, or crazy or enthusiastic or exuberant or whatever it was. He just loved me. He really did love me. He gave me such freedom. I was so free to be me, married to Russ. And when I saw him, is there a wedding picture up there? He got better with age. Kevin was handsome, more handsome than Russ in those days. You don't believe it, eh? But honestly, Kevin was. We've got photos to prove it. And Russ was my best mate. That's why Kevin didn't like me, because I actually liked him and I was trying to date him and trying to get Russell to jack me up with his bro. And, but because Rusty was my mate, and then I changed my mind, Richard, and I said to Rich, how do you reckon I can get Russ to take me out? I've changed my mind. I want to marry my best mate. I don't want to marry my best mate's brother. So we went about it, and Russell actually told me just this year that in all that time, when he knew that I was kind of trying to get him to like me, he was just playing hard to get, and he liked me all the time anyway. And I've waited like 27 years not knowing that. And so, yeah, the day he asked me to go out with him, he could have asked me to marry him. I would have said yes. I just saw in him so much potential. Girls, you got to marry the guys with potential. Don't think you are going to get one that's already sorted. They're not. They all need help. They all need us. They need a woman. And then I worked on his wardrobe, and I had to work on my own wardrobe as well, and my hair and all that sort of stuff. Look, I hardly wore makeup. Look at that wedding dress. It cost me $45, and I made it. The hat was $45, and it arrived, and it was a pull box hat, and I hated it, so I cut it up the night before. And it never quite fitted right, and we made Di and Kathy's dresses, and there's little Lisa DeVette. And, yeah. So, but you know, I loved him. I loved him, and from day one, I loved him, and I've loved him every day for 27 and a half years. And then we had our honeymoon, and that's just to show you me in sort of like kind of a bikini, probably the best I ever looked. And then we'll skip right along, and we had children. And there's David. Is that up there yet? Yeah. And that other little one is Laura. I got a nice one, Laura. You always got to look after the girls. And he encouraged me, you know, when I wanted to go off and do some post-grad counselling, or if I wanted to go off and manage a netball team, or going away with netball girls every week and all that. You know, he ended up like becoming our best fan. You know, he came to every game that the netball girls played, and he'd be going, come on, Annie, or Rhea, shoot the goal, or, you know, something. He'd just yell out at them from the sideline, you know, and he just became a netball fan as well as a rugby. In fact, he probably liked netball better than rugby at the end. But he was always there. And I'll jump to that one about, well, Rusty, my love. These are the things I was thinking about Russ. You know, Rusty, what was he for me? He gave me freedom to be me. And I don't know anybody, you know. I was married, but it was like I could do anything I wanted to do. You know, I had total freedom. And I gave him, we gave each other freedom, but we always loved being together. We worked together. I married the boss. I was working with intellectually disabled kids, and because I was a kindergarten teacher, and I was working in a hostel and giving them fun times and breaking the rules when the matron wasn't there because I was in charge, and eating wrong food and staying up late and having really good fun. And then he said, "You want to come and work for us at Finlay's?" And so I went and made uniforms and stuff, and then I married the boss. And we worked together, and we worked together all of our lives. We worked together, we'd go home, we'd eat together, we'd sleep together, and we'd spend weekends together. And then we'd go on holiday together. So we just loved being together. He was courageous. He was an encourager. He was an entrepreneur and a visionary, and sometimes that drove me crazy because I wasn't quite so visionary, and I'd get scared about his plans or they wouldn't work or whatever. And you sort of, but you know, he was a visionary, and I loved him for it. When we lost everything once, we had no money. And he went and sold vacuum cleaners door to door and fire extinguishers. Now, you know, he'd been a man that had a good business, but he just did that to put food on the table because he knew I needed some security. And he got it, you know, he didn't really want to do it. And he'd get himself up in the morning and go and knock on doors. You know, he was a great man. He was a great man. He was positive. He was loving. He was supportive. He made me laugh. And I need to laugh. And he used to make me laugh all the time. Every day he'd make me laugh. He had a really strong mind. He was the most disciplined man I know. He would buy books and he would read them and he would discipline his mind. He would learn. We went to Tony Robbins in the States. We would go to seminars. We would go to Mega Memory in Singapore. We took the kids off to one of those ones and they would learn. They had a kids program. You know, he just wanted to learn. And he could write books about stuff that he knew more than the guys that wrote the books. But he'd still be buying their books and read it. He just loved learning. He was never so proud that he didn't think there was something he could learn from somebody. And he disciplined his mind, you know. He would get in such stressful situations and he would just be positive. He would go, "No, I'm not going to go there and think like that. I'm going to be positive." Even though, you know, he might feel that life sucks, he would just, "No, I'm going to be positive. I'm moving forward. I've got to come out this. I'm no good to anybody if I can't get myself up and get going again. I can't sort out any of that if I can't get going and make something." And so he would keep going, and we have a bookstore of books about learning. You know, he was amazing. He was an amazingly disciplined man and a great mind. He refused to give up, even though he failed a couple of times, and a lot of you know that. He refused. He was worried that he'd hurt people, and he would hate seeing people because he knew they might think bad of him. But he never ever intended at any time to hurt anybody. He was always trying to make good, and sometimes things just went wrong, and there was nothing he could do about it. But he never ever wanted that, and it hurt him the most was to see people that he may have hurt, and because he just was never ever in him. He was not a part of him that would ever wanted to have hurt anybody. He believed in us. He believed in you. He believed in every single one of you. He could see the good in you. He could see what you could all become. And he wanted to help you be that. And he was a peacemaker. You know, I'm the one that complains at the cafe and stuff. He'd let me. "Oh, Jill. Doesn't matter if the taxi's only going to cost you 2 cents more. You don't have to bargain for half an hour. Honestly, we're in India. It's only 2 cents. Yeah, but it's 1,000 rupee. It's only 2 cents.